This is a little bit like Christmas morning. We've been working on this for a long time, so I really appreciate everybody coming and being a part of this. So with that, I'm gonna give the mic here to Jamie, and he will kick us off.
Thanks, Chris. Welcome, everybody, this morning. Thank you for joining us at our home on the river here. We're glad that everyone could join us this morning. My name is Jamie Paul. I'm the Senior Vice President of Transformative Technologies here in the Midwest. So it's great to meet you all, or to those that we've met before, good to see you again. Jotted down a couple notes for this morning. It's a privilege to host such an accomplished and forward-looking group of angel investors, people whose work is foundational to the area's tech startup ecosystem. And as many of you know, that first check is the hardest check, and it's often the difference between an idea staying on the whiteboard or becoming the next great company and the next flagship from the Chicagoland area. So the work you do is important. Your commitment to first checks and pairing those investments with mentorships, founding networks, and critical introduction is exactly what helps transform potential into progress. It's the whole network around the checks that really enables the founders to achieve their success. And it's something that Chris and Lofty Angels has really done on an exceptional basis, reducing the friction between the innovators and the investors and giving them the resources they need to achieve. I know you got a day full of meetings ahead, conversations that will hopefully shape the next generation of companies. And we're honored to provide the space for those connections to happen. We look forward to continuing to support you, the founders, and Lofty any way that we can. So, at Bank of America, we believe in the power of the ecosystem. It's our second year formally supporting Lofty, and our first year hosting an event like this in our space. It's an opportunity to learn, deepen relationships, and be part of the journey that brings these transformative ideas to life. Thank you to Chris and to Christian, wherever she is, for helping put this together today. We're all so excited to be here. Thank you.
I really need to thank Jamie again. It was probably about 2 years ago when we were both leaving the Tech Chicago Summit that they were hosting downstairs, and we were walking out the front door, and I said, "You're with Bank of America, right? I've been meaning to talk to you for quite a while." And here we are 2 years later. So really, thanks again, Jamie. I can't thank you enough. So I have a fair amount of thank yous here that are really important, so please bear with me. And I just turned 50, so now I've got new glasses. Again, I want to thank our lead partners. So I call Lofty Ventures basically a non-nonprofit. It's not a great business model for cash flow. It's a great business model for long-term returns, but we lose money on all this stuff. So all of our financial partners help us defray some of those costs throughout the year. So our lead partners are really big help. Bank of America, Verizon, and Neil Gerber Eisenberg. Our innovation partner, Insperity. And then we have a bunch of venture partners, and a number of them are in the room. Actually, one of them, unfortunately, is sick today. But venture partners, World Business Chicago, Permanent Capital, Marison Power, Proto Ventures, Sandolphin Capital, Math Venture Partners. Mark will be up with us in a minute. Tawani Ventures, Nomadic Venture Partners, Chicago Early Growth Ventures, and Capitalize VC. I want to thank our 18 different speakers who will be joining us throughout the day. I want to thank our in-kind and contributing partners. We have several of those here today as well, as well as Eric behind the camera. I'd like to thank all of our volunteers who have really, again, this is a non-profit. We all work together to make this happen. So thank you so much to Mary Doctor, who's up front, Sergio Flores, who's up front as well, Desmond Jetton, and Morgan Comper, who will be here this evening. A really big thank you, please give applause to Christian, who just walked in the room. We could not have done this without Christian. Thank you. And also to all of you for being here. This is our inaugural Angel Summit, and this literally doesn't happen without people sitting down and participating. And we've had people fly in for this, which I was not expecting. I was wondering if they want to come in from the burbs, but we've got people from Utah and New York and all over the place, and that's phenomenal. So thank you, really, really thank you. And lastly, and I see a couple of you, there'll be more coming later, thank you to the founders. So the big evil plan that we have here at Lofty is to help founders learn angel investing earlier. You don't have to gate it. You don't have to wait until you've gotten that big pile of cash that we're all helping you get to. You can start learning earlier. So thank you to the founders. Okay, a couple quick things. There's a lot of new people here. So what is Lofty Ventures? Lofty is not a VC. Hello? Okay. Lofty is not a VC firm. I am an angel. I've been writing angel checks for 27 years, and about a decade ago, a little bit over a decade ago, when I moved back to Chicago, I started writing some angel checks here, and I literally just had to set up an LLC, and my dad's company was called Loft Development Corporation, because he brought lofts from New York to Chicago in the 60s. So I said, how about Lofty Ventures LLC just to put stuff in? And because my thesis was investing in early stage founders in Chicago, it became a community. And so really, Lofty Ventures is just my operating LLC, but it's become the platform that I now use to support the 180 founders and 100 companies that I've invested in. And 80% of those are here in Chicago, so it's very Chicago-centric, but not exclusive. There are some outliers. And really, inside of Lofty, there's two communities. There's a very exclusive community, and at the heart of that is our 180 founders that we backed. We call this the Lofty family. Around that are XIRs, which are experts or anything in residence, like Mark and Scott, and thank you for coming in. Brittany's name. So we have great people around that core of our founders, partners, etc. And then on the other side, from the Lofty family, is Lofty Angels. So we go from pretty exclusive to extremely inclusive. Literally, anybody can sign up for Lofty Angels because we're just trying to learn angel investing. It's literally open sourcing angel investing. So you might ask, why are we doing Lofty Angels? This all started about 4 years ago when we created a syndicate. There was another young gentleman who was working with me before. Some of you may remember Spencer. Spencer really wanted to start a fund, and I said, there is zero chance I'm starting a fund. I don't want bosses. As soon as you have LPs, you have bosses, right, Mark? I've heard that. Yeah. So I said, I want to be an angel. He said, well, why don't we try doing a syndicate? I said, okay, that we'll try, because I don't have the same kind of responsibility there. I can turn it off at any time. And it was an interesting test. So we tried it, and before we opened it, I realized, why don't we give access to this syndicate to our founders at special terms? We were asking in that first syndicate, which was Retail Aware in fall of 2021, it was a $10,000 minimum check, and we were taking a 20% carry, which I split with Spencer. We said, we're going to give any founders that want to invest, that we've invested in, 1,000 minimum, which is as low as AngelList allows us to go, and kill the carry, to give them an incentive to try to start learning and writing small checks. And that worked really well. Today, 10 syndicates later, we've now had 26 of our 180 founders, 15% of them, that have started learning by writing checks into their peers in the community. What's so fun about that is they all know each other because it is a small community. So the big evil plan with Lofty Angels is helping founders learn angel investing earlier. And I realized if we're going to teach our founders, we got to create all this content anyway, let's just open source that and give it to everybody for free. And so that's where Lofty Angels came from. And if you guys have friends that, as we like to say, are angel curious, please send them to loftyangels.com. Right now, it's still for the summit, but that will be converting into all sorts of open source content that we have that will give you more educational resources. Also, the packets that you guys hopefully got up front, there are some tips and resources in that. In fact, one of them, I'm going to point to Jeff here. He was part of the founding team with NewStack. That's one of the resources that I actually recommended there is their podcast. What's the podcast again?
Full Ratchet.
Full Ratchet, right. So there's all sorts of great resources that are out there. Part of the hard thing is just finding them. So we're just going to try to help guide you to where are places where you can find stuff and actually write checks. And we are really not going to be the source for you for deal flow until you say, I want to write $10,000, $25,000 checks, because that's really the minimum check size that you need in order to start writing direct. Okay, almost done here. Okay, so like 3 more things. The Lofty Syndicate I mentioned. If people do want to start writing 5K checks, you're welcome to come into our syndicate. Now, do not rely on that as your sole source of deal flow. We do like 3 to 4 a year. I want you to look at lots and lots of deals for everyone that you actually say yes to, so you should sign up for all the other people that are going to be speaking up here from Chicago Early and Josephine Collective, and there's other angel groups. Join them, get their deal flow, because you have to look at lots of deals in order for you to be able to have confidence in the ones that you write checks for. But if you want to write checks in ours, you're certainly welcome to, and you'll get more information about that. We are kicking off our next syndicate with an amazing Chicago/New York founder. Her name is Claudia Romo Edelman. And she has, ironically, my wife and I gave up drinking over a dozen years ago, and I'm investing in my first alcohol company, which is sort of funny, but it's because of the founder. At Lofty, we are founder focused to almost a default. And she is an incredible founder. So I already wrote, I was the first check in their first round for this alcohol company. We'll tell you more. There's a tasting tonight at the after party, so hopefully you can come and try the Sotol. But it's an amazing story. It has a chance to be a breakout alcohol category. There are 3 big alcohol categories, and I don't mean this to be an infomercial, but I think this part's interesting. There's tequila, mezcal, and Sotol. Nobody knows about Sotol in the US, but it's big in Mexico. And her family has a 4th generation recipe that she wants to take to market, and she is a force of nature when you meet her. Unfortunately, her daughter, it's her daughter's birthday today or yesterday, so she couldn't be here. She's in New York. So that's a syndicate. And then we have 3 upcoming events, and then we're done here with my rant. So one of the things that we do with our angel education is these things called Lofty Lunch and Learns. They're supposed to be monthly. We've been pretty busy over the past year, so we've slipped on those a little bit, but we've had people like Troy Hennekoff, Amanda Lannert, Kat Manalik, who's a partner at Y Combinator, a whole bunch of really great people speak at that. Our next one, very excited to announce, is with co-founder and CEO of Techstars, David Cohen, and that's going to be on Wednesday, September 24th at noon. You guys will all get information on that, so you don't have to worry about it right now. And then also this fall, we're going to premiere our short film that we co-collaborated with Eric Perez from Misfits Labs. He's also a Chicago Lofty founder. That will be somewhere TBD, but we think we have a rooftop film screening location for that. So that will probably be also our fall party. So that should be pretty fun.